This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Welcome back. Ducks Unlimited is the world's leader in wetlands and waterfowl conservation, and the Kirksville chapter is gearing up for this year's banquet and auction. To tell us more about the Ducks Unlimited, we have Chairman here, Jim Hughes, and some other board members, Cassie and Matt. Yep. So how are you guys doing? Lots to get ready for.
We could always do better. Certainly, Ducks Unlimited is an all-volunteer organization. Most of the funding comes from what they call grassroots efforts, such as what we have in Kirksville. And there are about 4,000 of those across the country. And that's basically how Ducks Unlimited basically gets their funding. 81%, I think, the last figure I saw of all the funding that comes in directly benefits wetland conservation. Which also benefits a whole bunch of other things besides waterfowl. So there's a roundabout way of saying we're doing pretty good, but we can always use some more people who attend and provide us some funding, either underwriting some of the items that we auction or just providing us some things that we can auction and give away at the banquet.
And now I know in years past you've been looking for more female women to get involved in Ducks Unlimited. How is that going?
Well, we'll ask Cassie about that.
Perfect.
It's going pretty well. We're down like one female board member this year, but we're trying to get out there and get involved in the community and getting some more females in by getting the gentlemen's wives involved or girlfriends and fiancés.
Now, do you do anything specific to kind of just specifically target women and do events like that?
Yeah. We don't have any events planned, but at our banquet we have a women's table that's specifically for women's. We'll have like a wine basket and some flowers usually get donated, and a silver tray gets donated, and some coupons here and there.
And I might just point out to kind of dovetail on that, this is more than just about waterfowl hunters. I mean, I know a lot of people who are DU members and even board members who don't hunt. I mean, it's about conservation. So it doesn't matter whether you hunt or you don't. I mean, it's a great effort to get involved with.
Now, how did Ducks Unlimited get started?
Ducks Unlimited started in the mid-30s when there was terrible drought conditions and waterfowl numbers had plummeted, and a group of sportsmen got together and decided, what can we do to protect the breeding areas of most waterfowl, which is up in the northern United States and up into Canada. And that's the main focus. Ducks Unlimited have been around since 1936, and that's been their main focus. And over those years, they've conserved over 13 million acres up in the breeding areas in the Dakotas and up into Saskatchewan and Canada. So very successful organization.
That's amazing. Now, the fun stuff, the event that's going on, let's talk a little bit about that. When and where?
Okay, very good question, Matt.
The banquet, this will be our 41st banquet in Kirksville. So we're a long-time organization and presence here in Kirksville, and it'll be Saturday the 27th of September at the Days Inn.
And now, what has kind of driven this to continue year after year?
Usually the local committee, and we have some committee members that have been involved for over 30 years. Local committee that goes through the time and effort to gather the materials and get the sponsors and get the underwriters and put the banquet on as a fundraising effort for Ducks Unlimited. And all the money goes to wetland conservation. So it's kind of been a love for conservation and a love for waterfowl and everything associated with waterfowl that drives most committee members and the people that come to the banquet. We have a couple hundred people come to our banquet, and they have a good time. They have fun.
And part of it also is, the United States has lost a little over half of its wetlands. Everybody has a love for waterfowl, certainly in the group, but also the other 900 species that benefit from, those kinds of environments. And so I think that keeps us going every year, because we know the vast majority of the money goes directly to those efforts, and they're actually conserving millions and millions of acres that are benefiting all those, not only the waterfowl, but all the other animals and other creatures as well.
And now, do we have any specific areas here in Kirksville or the Heartland where?
We do in Missouri, and Matt can talk about that.
There have been several joint projects with the Department of Conservation and Ducks Unlimited to revamp some major waterfowl areas. We have one in Pike County, Ted Shanks Conservation Area. We have one over by Brookfield, Fountain Grove Conservation Area. Both of those have partnered with Ducks Unlimited on major renovations on thousands of acres, and they've been a partner in those two. But once again, although the organization has conserved a lot of acres in the United States, a lot of it is focused on the breeding areas where the ducks raise. And once again, those are those northern areas of the United States.
Perfect. Now, items being auctioned off, I know that's always a favorite. What type of items do we have?
Well, we have a little bit of everything. We have, a number of very ornate decoys, some of them hand-carved that will be there. A lot of people collect those. We have a lot of prints, wildlife prints, whether that be related to waterfowl or hunting dogs. We just have a whole bunch of stuff. People donate. We have a local business that donated a 5-burner barbecue grill. So we just have all kinds of stuff. And I know Cassie and her group are working on some very specific items that might appeal to women or maybe others that aren't as involved in waterfowl or conservation efforts. So,
anything else you guys would like to add?
We have several firearms. We have clocks, decorative items, a little bit, something for everybody, really, when they come.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
all
you.
of you, for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
And we will remind you to head on out to Ducks Unlimited annual banquet and auction, and we'll be right back.